And we are back here on the GSMC Football Podcast. And for the final part of the show, we are going to talk about Justin Fields, some comments he made on competing for the starting job. Also, some comments about him just being traded. I think this is the first time he has spoken publicly about everything that's happened since he was traded. So, yeah, so he did in fact spoke to the Pittsburgh media for the first time on Tuesday since the trade from the Bears. So this is what he said. It wasn't really a shock. I knew what was going to happen beforehand. Yeah, because he also did make an appearance on, I forget whose podcast it was, that he kind of just wants like this whole thing, all the trade stuff and everything to be over with and just know where he's going to be. But yeah, so he said it was really a shock, or it wasn't really a shock. There were a lot of ups and downs, but all in all, I appreciate every relationship that I built, all my teammates. They know that I have nothing but love for the city, for the fans, and for my old teammates and coaches. Yeah, I mean, he also had Bears fans chanting for him because they wanted him to stay, but that wasn't the case. And this is what he had to say about, competing with Russell Wilson for the starting job. He said, I'm definitely competing. I think Russ knows that. We're competing against each other every day. Helps me get better, us pushing each other. I definitely don't have the mindset of sitting all year. I'm coming in every day, giving it all I got, pushing him to be his best, and he's pushing me to be my best each and every day. And this was what Mike Tomlin had to say on the matter. He said, they're professionals, and I'm so excited about that, but I'm not surprised by it. There's an expectation there. Both guys have been franchise-like guys, if you will. They've gotten out of their cars in the morning and worn the responsibility of being that guy for a franchise. And so there's a residual benefit from that. And so I'm excited about us receiving it. Yeah, I mean, and Pittsburgh has a completely different quarterback room. I mean, last year you had Kenny Pickett, Mitchell Trubisky, and Mason Rudolph. And I was trying to remember the third. Yeah, and he's now with the Titans. And now it's a completely different. You got these two guys, and I think Kyle Allen is the third quarterback on the roster. But I mean, I really think it's going to be. I don't want to say it's like a week by week. It's going to be a week to week thing. I think they're going to give Russ a chance to, show that he's still got something left. And I think as we go along in the season, and maybe he's not playing well, then they're going to switch it over to Fields and see what he's got. And if he doesn't have it, well, then the Steelers have yet again a quarterback issue on their hands. But I mean, I think the Steelers are going to win between like 8 and 9 games. I mean, when I get to their schedule, I'll do my win-loss prediction, but we got a long way to go before we get to the Steelers. We went through the first 2 teams in the NFC East. So, and I'm going to basically go in the order that I did with the divisional rankings. So we got a long way to go before we get to the Steelers. But yeah, I think at least like for me, they're guaranteed 8-9 wins, in my opinion. Because I mean, with Mike Tomlin, they don't finish with awful records. They don't. They're either back when before the extra game they would finish 8-8. But that's what they finish at. That's the worst that he's ever finished is 8-8. I mean, look at last year. Look at how the season went. You had Kenny Pickett start. He gets hurt. Mitchell Trubisky comes in, doesn't play well. They put in Mason Rudolph, and everything changed. And they were able to make the playoffs. And, of course, they didn't win against the Bills, but they made it. Give them credit. And now the quarterback room is better. Now, is it significantly better? I wouldn't say that, but it definitely is better. And I think Russ will play okay. So, I mean, and Justin Fields said he doesn't think he's going to be sitting the whole year. Well, I mean, if Russell Wilson is winning games for the Steelers, you're not going to be playing. And I know there was some talk that, maybe he could be returning kicks / punts. I mean, I don't know why they'd want to do that because that just has disaster written all over it. And Justin Fields, he makes plays with his legs. It's the arm that, it's throwing the football that needs improvement. And I don't think they should do that, but I think the Steelers squashed that. So I don't think that's going to end up happening. So, but Yeah, I mean, if Russell, like I said, if Russell Wilson's playing well, Fields is not really gonna see any playing time. So yeah, I mean, they're competing against each other. They're bringing out the best in each other. Through this whole thing. But I think Fields is kind of, in the back of his mind saying, I hope he doesn't play well because I want my chance. And the Steelers, they play in a very tough division. They play in the toughest division in football. Each team can make the playoffs. It would not surprise me if all four AFC North teams make the playoffs. Now, is that going to happen? Probably not. But it would not surprise me because that's just how good this division is. And the Steelers are hoping that with the changes that they made at quarterback to go along with their defense, also on top of that, you address the offensive line in the draft. I think they drafted three offensive linemen that could be starting. I know at least two of them are going to be starting. So the offensive line is improved. That helps the quarterback. That also helps the running game, which was effective for them last year with Jaylen Warren and Najee Harris. And Najee Harris is supposedly coming in good shape. So, yeah, I mean, the Steelers, I like I said, they're going to be a team that's going to hang around 500. They're going to be fighting for a playoff spot, in my opinion. But we'll see how the quarterback position is. Because if you look at Russ's stats, yeah, he had a decent year. But from some of the other things that I hear from it, because again, I didn't watch a ton of Broncos games, but it's just, he could not throw. It was a lot of checkdowns, and he just could not. I think it was down the middle of the field, but he'd be throwing a lot. But he connected on some deep balls with Cortland Sutton. Now he's going to have the opportunity to play with George Pickens, who's looking for stability at the quarterback position. And, he's hoping that he gets out with Russell Wilson / Justin Fields. Or Justin Fields. I don't know why I said /, but you know what I mean. But we'll see. But I know I've said this on previous shows as well. You're going to get the Russell Wilson from Denver. More of that Russell Wilson. I don't think you're getting the one from Seattle. But if they somehow did, and if Russ turns back the clock this year and he's the Russell Wilson from Seattle, that puts the Steelers in a different conversation and a better conversation for them and their fan base. Because they're just looking for playoff wins. I mean, I was in high school the last time they won a playoff game. My dad's a Steelers fan. Hasn't really seen them do anything in a long time. So, I mean, this fan base is looking for something, to get them over the hump and win a playoff game. At least. But, yeah, I don't really, and back to the original point, I don't really know what Fields is going to be able to do between now and, when the season starts to, really put him in the conversation to become the starting quarterback. Because right now, I mean, I think Russell Wilson is right now the starter. It's his job to lose. I mean, I guess he'd have to play really bad in the preseason, and Fields would have to play really well. I mean, maybe that would, maybe give the Steelers, second thoughts and say, what, maybe we give Justin Fields a chance to start instead. But they open up against the Falcons. And, I mean, Russell Wilson is going to be the starter. And I guess, if he gets hurt, that's another way Fields has the opportunity to step in and be the guy. But we'll see. We will have to wait and see on that. But let me know what you guys think. Who should be the starting quarterback? Should it be Russell Wilson or should it be Justin Fields? I mean, I'd probably lean more towards Russell Wilson myself, but that's just my opinion. But they're competing, and maybe Fields does see playing time this year, but we got a long way to go before we get to that. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the show for today. Appreciate you guys tuning in. I'll be back again tomorrow, of course. Tomorrow is Friday, The week just flew by. Well, on top of that, I didn't have the show on Monday, so that kind of played a role in it as well. One less show. But also, I do want to say I will be making an appearance on Emran's show tonight, the GSMC Soccer Podcast. Now, for those of you that have been watching, I have not referenced soccer at all on this show, other than to advertise his show when he's been on my show the last couple weeks. But I am not a big soccer fan. I am not a soccer enthusiast. So it's going to be interesting how this goes. But because with football, I would say football and baseball are my strong suits. Basketball, I can hold my own. But I mean, soccer, yeah, it'll be fun though. It'll be fun. It'll be me, him, and also Manny from the GSMC Chip Shot Football Podcast. He'll also be on there too. But Manny's a soccer guy too, so I'm kind of the odd man out there. So we'll see how it goes. Look, I know Messi and Ronaldo are good, so at least I have that going in. So, but it'll be fun. But that will be. So, again, I'm on the East Coast, so it's 12:30 a.m. Eastern time. So yeah, it's late, but that is when that show will be. So 12:30 a.m. Eastern time. That'll be tonight. So it'll be tomorrow, but you know what I mean. So make sure to tune in for that if you want to see me talking about soccer. And like I always say, make sure to check out all the other shows as well. Make sure to check out Manny's show. His show is, I think it's either 5:30 or 6:30 Eastern time. It might be, I think it's 5:30 Eastern time. 5:30 p.m. Eastern time. So make sure to check out his show. Make sure to check out all the other shows as well. We got the conference. Well, I almost said the conference tournaments. We got the the Western Conference Finals. The conference finals. That's what I meant to say. The conference finals in the NBA, both the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference. You had the Celtics winning Game 1 against the Pacers, and you also had the Mavericks winning last night against the Timberwolves. So right now the Mavs have a 1-0 lead over them in that series. Celtics have a 1-0 lead in their series. So make sure to check out Nelson's show, host of the GSMC Basketball Podcast, to get his takes on those games as well. Make sure to check out all the other shows. The hockey playoffs are still going on as well. The Panthers beat the Rangers last night, so they're up 1-0. So make sure to check out Garrison's show. So he does hockey and golf. So make sure to, I forget his schedule though, because it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I think is hockey, and then Tuesday, Thursday is golf. If not, it's reversed. But yeah, we got a bunch of new shows, basically covering almost every sport, pretty much every sport. So make sure to check out everybody's shows throughout the day here on the GSMC Sports Network. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That is all the time that we have for today. Again, thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be back again tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And until then, I'm Kenneth Gruenfelder signing off from the GSMC Football Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Have a good day, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Take care.